All right, when you picture immigrating to Canada, what do you see? I'm guessing it's the CN Tower in Toronto, right? Or maybe the stunning mountains in Vancouver. But today, we're going to talk about a totally different path, one that takes you right into the heart of the country.
And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? It's this idea that the Canadian dream isn't always about the big city hustle. For a lot of folks, it's about finding a place where you actually belong, a real community where you can put down roots. And believe it or not, Canada has an immigration pathway built for that exact purpose.
So you've basically got two choices. Over here, you have the big city path. Think express entry. It's a total battle royale, right? All based on points, you against thousands and thousands of other people. But then there's the rural path, and it's a completely different ballgame. It's not about points. It's about a community wanting you there with a job offer in hand.
And this path, this is what we're calling Canada's other dream. It's a brand new permanent pathway to residency. So let's break down how it actually works.
Okay, so the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, or RCIP. At its core, yeah, it's an economic program, but what makes it so revolutionary? Well, it completely flips the script. Instead of some giant faceless federal system in Ottawa calling the shots, this program puts the power right into the hands of small towns. They get to pick the people they need.
And that right there is the key. You have to understand this is a community-first pilot. It is not about your point score. It's about a town looking at you and saying, yeah, this person fits. We want them here. The best way to think about it is it's not a competition. It's more like matchmaking. You're not just another number in a giant pool ranked by points. It's way more personal. If a community wants you and you've got that job offer, they basically send you an invitation. It's that direct.
All right, so what are the actual requirements from the federal government? You might be surprised. They're pretty straightforward. First, you need a real, full-time, permanent job offer in one of these towns. You also need 1 year of work experience. But here's a cool little exception. If you're an international student who graduated from a college in that community, you don't even need the work experience. On top of that, just a high school diploma and a pretty basic language.
Now, what about money? This is a big one. The settlement funds you need for a single person, just about $2,400. Compare that to something like express entry, where it's way, way higher. This makes the whole dream a lot more achievable for a lot more people.
Okay, so let's say you tick all those boxes. What's the actual path to getting your PR? Well, it's a pretty simple two-step journey.
Here's the breakdown. Step 1, you focus on the community. You get your job offer, and then you apply directly to their local committee. They're the ones who check you out. If they like what they see, they give you the golden ticket, a community recommendation. Once you have that, you're on to step 2, which is applying to the federal government. Honestly, once you've got the community's blessing, the hardest part is over.
So how long does all this take? Let's be realistic. Finding the job? That could take a few months. Getting the community's recommendation? Probably another 1 to 3 months. Then you've got the federal processing, which is the long haul, about 12 to 16 months. But, and this is a huge but, you can often get a work permit to go there and start working while you wait for your PR. That's a total game changer.
Okay, back to costs for a sec. That first step, getting the community recommendation, the fee is, get this, incredibly low. Some towns charge nothing, $0. Others might charge up to maybe $500. That's it.
And you compare that to the standard federal application fee, which is $950 paid to IRCC. It just goes to show you, these little towns aren't trying to make money off you. They're genuinely trying to attract people who want to be there.
So, we've gone through all the paperwork, the technical stuff, but now we need to talk about the single most important part of this whole thing. And it has nothing to do with your resume. It's about proving that you actually want to live there.
This is it, the make or break question. What does intent to reside really mean? Because for the people on these community committees, it is not just a checkbox on a form. It's everything.
Let me give you a classic example of what not to do. It's what we call the parachute applicant. Picture this. Someone living in downtown Toronto applies for a job in, say, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. They've never been there, know nothing about it. They just see it as an easy backdoor to get PR. And the result? Almost always a big, fat no. The committee sees right through that stuff. They're not looking for someone who's just going to stick around for a year and then bolt. They're looking for a neighbor, someone who's going to build a life there. So, how do you show your intent is real? Simple. You do the work.
You actually visit the community if you can. You write in your application why you chose this specific town. You mention family you might have nearby. You show them you've looked up schools for your kids or talked to local settlement agencies. You prove you're already invested in the idea of living there.
Look, this program is amazing. It has so much potential. But it's not perfect, and there are definitely risks. So let's do a final breakdown, the pros and cons.
So what's the final verdict? Well, the rewards are pretty sweet. You skip the crazy competition of express entry, you get real support from the community, and your boss doesn't need to get a complicated LMIA. But the risks are just as real. Getting rejected because you couldn't prove your intent is a big one. And hey, if you get your PR and leave right away, that could trigger a misrepresentation investigation. Plus, you're hitching your wagon to the economy of one small town.
In the end, it all comes down to this one simple truth. This isn't just about filling out forms. It's a human process. Success isn't about being the most skilled worker. It's about convincing a handful of people that you're going to be a good neighbor.
And all of this really makes you wonder, right? As Canada tries to figure out how to share the benefits of immigration outside of just a few big cities, maybe this is the answer. Putting the power back in the hands of local folks. So, I'll leave you with this. Is this the future of Canadian immigration? More local, more personal, and maybe, just maybe, more about finding a place you can really truly call home?